And then we immediately cut into that. The newscast never got filmed, so unfortunately this scene doesn't have the effect that I wish it did. But I hope that answers your question.
So Josh, you guys shot this back home with your school buddies, so you had to do a nude scene in front of all your school buddies.
Yeah, that was fun. The best part about that actually was we had our buddy Jared here shooting behind the scenes. So we're standing there and we were like, probably shouldn't film this. It's like 17 degrees out. But he was standing there and we actually have footage of him standing there with the camera.
The entire time Josh is going, I hope you guys know it's really cold out.
Very cold. And Jared stands there, and we actually have footage. The camera's rolling, and he's going, "No, dude, it's off. Go ahead. No, take your pants off. It's off." Which is in the behind the scenes. So that was enlightening. It was fun.
And we had this makeup artist named Kaio who was like, Josh, would you like me to put gunk on your balls? Let me put gunk on your balls.
So much slime on my ass, which was very comfortable.
It's dedication.
Nothing compared to what she had to do.
Who else do we have? We have another question. Yes.
I noticed that you, for transformation scenes, that there's pods. Did you also draw inspiration from the Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
A lot of inspiration from the Body Snatchers. Actually, my favorite iteration of that movie. I like the '78 one with Sutherland. The Stuart Gordon written one from the early '90s has some good ideas into it. It's not well directed, but you know, just that whole mythology, that was a major inspiration for me. Like I said, it was mostly, you know, Fire in the Sky and Terminator and stuff like that, but I definitely did watch all of those Body Snatcher movies. I fucking love them. I definitely pulled some stuff from them. Yes, I will admit to that.
Incidentally, it is the 35th anniversary of the '78 version.
Yeah, 25th. Oh, 35th, right?
I mean, were there any challenges when you were making, like, what was the biggest challenge? Was there something that you wanted to have in it, but you just didn't have the resources?
Pretty much everything that I wrote in the script is in there. Some of it wasn't pulled off as good as I wanted, obviously, because it was so ambitious and we had not much money. I guess that the biggest thing was I wrote all this shit into the script, like, you know, attaching a tentacle to a vagina and then actually talking somebody into doing it for like money. So that was ridiculous. And then, you know, I'm like, hey Josh, so you're gonna play this role. And he's like, so I gotta lay out in the woods naked. And I'm like, yeah, we're shooting in February, by the way. So just the fact that they agreed to do all that stuff, I guess, was the biggest challenge. And actually pulling it off, you know, we shot in February, so we had like 7.5 hour daylight hours. That was a really big pain in the ass. And we shot in 18 days, which is fucking ridiculous. Like, you know, and Vanessa's actually she actually pulled that guy out of the El Camino at the end, broke the window, pulled the guy. So the fact that she was able to meet all of those demands was so ridiculous. And just like, you know, when we shot at the gas station, it was 5 degrees and we were on the ocean, so there was like a 30-degree wind chill. And everybody was sitting inside and I'm trying to direct and nobody's outside, everybody's inside. It was a pain in the fucking ass.
It was so cold.
Who else do we have? Anyone else here? Don't be shy. Yeah, on the side there.
Can you talk about the sound design for the film?
Josh can, because he sound designed it.
Which specifically? Is there a specific one?
Well, so he acted, produced, edited, sound designed, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. PA?
Yeah, when we decided to sound design the film, we wanted to have a very specific footprint for Mark as far as the sound goes. And so we watched films like Extra and The Thing, and everything that we could find that was like a human being with some sort of an alien inside of them, and really just copied and transmogrified everything that we could find. The actual scream that I do in the woods and the house and everything else is a pig squealing, slowed down 1,000%, double chorused, and then I think with a very heavy, like 10 millisecond delay for like 5 seconds. And that was the first one we came across. It took us 3 different passes at that sound to get it. We were like, yep, that's it.
We sound designed this entire movie in our apartment complex, so like there's guys on the other side of the wall beating on their fucking wall. We had this cranked of Josh screaming, there's people just beating on the wall like, do you mind?
Every scene ends with a boom. It's just like heavy bass on the sound. We use like a lot of inside for the temp score, so it's boom.
Yeah, I actually, for the throat slips, I temped the inside sound in there and I brought it to my sound mixer. I'm like, I want it to sound as close to this as it can without ripping it off.
And the interesting thing is, like, you guys did submit this last year, but it was just so rough, and you guys wouldn't have been able to have even
Yeah,
hit
we
our
wouldn't have,
deadlines.
so we submitted it. There was no way we were going to make the deadline, but why not submit it? And like, we didn't have any color correction. We didn't have the opening credits. We didn't have the end credits. We had no sound design. And, you know, I just blindly submitted it, and we continued to work on it. We finished it at the end of last year, and we acquired some awesome sales agents. I don't know if you're still in the audience, but those guys are fucking awesome.
Their sales agent is called WTF.
Yeah. CM, who's also a ICM as well. And they were like, you know, Colin Getz would really like this. And I was like, well, I submitted a rough cut to him last year. And I submitted this, and, you know, it was basically a totally different movie. We had done so much work to it and just continued to hone it. And the fact that you wanted to play it still gives me a hard on, so.
Midnight Madness, come on.
And actually, the way that I saw it was their poster is done by Dude Designs, who did...
He did Hobo with a Shotgun. He just did the Sacrament. If you guys saw the Sacrament poster, it's so good.
Yeah, did
It's better than ours.
Little Bit Zombie, and so I saw this poster, I'm like, that's an awesome freaking poster. Oh wait, I think I saw that film last year. And then literally like 3 days later, Peter Trin, your agent from ICM, called up and said, he was like, yeah, have you seen this film? I'm like, funny you should mention it. And so checked it out again, and it was awesome. We have a couple more questions. Yes?
Well, obviously, from what you've already said, that it was very cold and goopy. I was just wondering what it was like with the whole blood thing all over everything all the time.
It hardened really fast. We had to keep on splattering it up.
I actually still, I held on to that jacket that I wore, and I swear that thing's like a rock now.
Crack it.
All my clothing, still, it's actually still molten. I don't know why, I don't know what blood does, but I feel like it's...
My mom actually came to set that last day when Vanessa's laying in the road, and she's like, what the hell are you doing to that poor girl? She's like, freezing. So she was laying there for like 3 hours in nothing but like see-through underwear, and it's like 7 degrees out, and she's covered in blood and just coughing.
On
blood all
assholes.
over the place.
Very
Yeah.
cold.
So she's a fucking trooper. Let's give her a round of applause. Come on.
And we have one last question here. Anyone? Lights blinding. Yes?
I thought it was shot on film while I was watching it, but I noticed the red logo at the end of it. Was that something that you were trying to accomplish for the setting in the 80s? Or?
I'm such a fan of 16 millimeter, and unfortunately I couldn't shoot on it. I just don't have the technical prowess nor the cash. So I shot it on the red in 4K, and I had an amazing DI artist who I told him, I said, I want this to look like it was shot on a 16 millimeter film stock from 1988. So we spent 6 hours going through every kind of film stock that Kodak had made in 1988 until I found one that I liked. And then we actually colored the entire movie to that setting. And, you know, we spent a lot of time in the color. I mean, I photographed this movie, but the...
Writer, director, producer, cinematographer.
But the DI artist actually is the one that made it look so good. He's fucking incredible.